So hold on. This one's great. You guys are going to love this. What do you think Rachel Maddow had to say about Vladimir Putin's comments on January 6th? Ashley Babbitt. So let me just do a quick context here. For those that missed the first part of this of the show, Vladimir Putin came out and said, you guys basically, you criticize me over Alexei Navalny and the opposition protests, but look what you're doing to Trump supporters and the January 6th riot. Like, look what you're doing to these people. And then he actually asked, did you order the assassination of of the woman who was shot by that police officer? He comes out really critical. Now, what do you think Rachel Maddow of MSNBC said that Putin was doing?
She combusted.
She exploded?
Yes.
She burst in. No way, dude.
Did she cry again?
She reached her purest form. This is exactly what she lives for. Vladimir Putin coming out and defending Trump supporters. Her eyes started glowing and she started emitting a powerful aura. She levitated from her chair. MSNBC. Putin's Russia adopts Republican talking points on January 6th riot. On January 6th, far-right Republicans have a political ally once again in Vladimir Putin, who's only too pleased to amplify their talking points. Russia's back. Yes. I was worried for a minute. I was sad. I missed talking about, all the Russia nonsense. Thank you, Rachel Maddow. I bet she cried when Putin came out and said this, because when the Mueller report came out saying that, Donald Trump did not collude and there was no evidence, she was nearly crying. Mm-hmm. And there's that really funny video where the woman's filming and she's like shaking with laughter, like she's crying. And Rachel Maddow's like, there's nothing here. She's like, she didn't really start crying, but she was like holding back.
You would think these people would have some kind of wake up to reality. You would think these people, after crying on national television, after lying to the American people for 4 years, telling us Russian collusion, Trump is Russia, Russia's involved in our politics, Russia, changed the elections. You would think after that realization, after that huge pie in her face, still proverbially there, in my opinion, just an absolute disgrace for 4 years, you would think they would just stop it. But they double down.
It's intentional, that's why.
Yeah,
obviously.
Say,
I mean, I think some kid with a VPN might have flipped it on and worked out of a Russian IP. I mean, there's no way. That conversation's never even entered. I've never even heard Rachel Maddow or anybody postulate. Is it possible that some corporation is working with a Russian IP? It could be anybody.
I've never heard them mention a VPN as a possible answer to why we think it's from Russia. And we also have the World Economic Forum talked about. We want to get away from capitalism. We want to get away from meat. We want to, what was the other one?
You own nothing.
Oh, get away from oil. And then we had a lockdown that shut down the economy for a year. And then we had, what else? We had the pipeline that got hacked.
Yep. The meat hack.
And then the meat hack. Those are all beneficial for the WEF. Yeah. It's just interesting.
And very interestingly, the World Economic Forum is doing Cyber Polygon, their digital online war games. They're going to be doing it in a few days from now. They did it last year. They're going to do it again this year. And they're literally practicing and drilling big, severe war games that damage the infrastructure of countries. So they've been drilling this last year. They're doing it again this year with a whole bunch of corporations, a whole bunch of governments involved in this larger cyber polygon World Economic Forum project that they're pushing to the lexicon. Again, World Economic Forum, huge entity.
We got it right here. I just want to issue one clarification too. The Rachel Maddow comments were about last week. Putin said something very similar, that the people who stormed the Capitol were there with political demands. Basically the same thing he said recently, but not the Ashley Babbitt part. But yes, we also have the worldeconomicforum.org News Guard certified, so you know it's legit, Cyber Polygon. And they say it is a unique cybersecurity event that combines the world's largest technical training exercise for corporate teams and an online conference featuring senior officials from international organizations and leading corporations. They're saying it's an online conference. Obviously, it's a cybersecurity event, so there's going to be an aspect of, obviously cybersecurity. Wasn't there something that Klaus Schwab said about a digital kind of pandemic where we're getting these cyber attacks and the damage that it can wreak?
He said that too.
Yeah,
he warned about it. I don't remember the details, but he was bringing it up in the same lane as the pandemic. So
yeah, a lot of people are bringing up Event 201. I'm not saying correlation is causation. And even with this hacking stuff, it could be Russia. It could be China. It could be Israel. Israel also hacked American systems and spied on American politicians and
Right.
spied on American infrastructure, stole American secrets, sold it to China. Not a lot of people know this. The online digital
Blew
space,
up our ship,
the online digital cyber space is a crazy world where even allies hack other allies. Now, with these NSA spying tools available for everyone that were paid for by your tax dollars, these ransom attacks, there's a lot more of them that we don't even know about because there's no news reports about them. And then I think they're happening a lot more than we even know, because just like, there's sporting events where they make sure that they don't film people who run on the stage. I think this is also a similar thing that's unfolding right now, and it should be questioned, especially with the latest FBI retrieval of these Bitcoins, because that story also doesn't add up, because these sophisticated hackers somehow put their Bitcoin that they got on a wallet that they didn't have the private keys on, that the FBI was just able to get a subpoena from the server.
You steal millions and you put it on a hot wallet. You're
and
out
you,
of your
and you
fucking
put a
mind.
hot wallet
No
where
way.
you don't know the private
That
keys.
was weird.
That's weird.
That's super weird, and the story doesn't add up. The story does not add up about these cyber attacks.
No.
And online, there could be false flags. It could be other countries. It could be Iran. It could be Kenya. It could be, who knows? It could be private interest.
listen,
Could be
listen.
corporate interest.
I'm going to say something. Not to overly speculate, but I just want to point out there was a Colonial Pipeline hack, shut down largest pipeline in the country. We had the JBS meat hack, shut down, I think, a fifth of the beef production in this country. We had a chemical plant just burst into flames, blow up in Illinois. Don't know that it's related to anything. But we had another oil refineries in Iran blows up. I remember when Donald Trump was flying some planes to Iran. He was going to do an airstrike, I think, on the coast, take out some of their surface to air stuff or whatever. And then all of a sudden they retreated. And then Trump said he asked his advisors how many people would die over this, and they said it was going to be like 100. He said it's not worth taking that many lives over what's happening. The interesting thing is, what happened in between that airstrike, from when the planes launched when they turned around? I think, I could be wrong, so fact check me on this one because it's been a while. There was a plant in Philadelphia, some kind of like refinery that went up in flames. Now, I asked my cybersecurity friends if they thought that maybe Iran issued it's called an industrial control system attack, an ICS, I think it's called ICS, attacked us, and then Trump panicked. They said, no, it's probably not the case, So, okay, all right. I'll err on that side, but I will point out, if there was major cyber attacks happening, do you think they're going to come out and just be like, oh, by the way, Iran just blew up one of our facilities? Of course they wouldn't. Why? They want war when they want war, not when they don't want war. So the United States government doesn't want to be forced into a war. If they came out and said, were attacked in this regard, the American people would be livid. They'll control the flow of information. And the moment they actually do want to launch an assault, it'll be all over every single TV.
And didn't we start this with Stuxnet with the nuclear refinement in
I don't
Iran?
think started it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know
been-
who started. I'm just
yeah,
saying
a big
it's an
advancement.
ongoing.
It's been happening for a very long
Yeah.
time, and the online cyberspace is congested with wars upon wars, allies spying on allies, allies attacking allies. It's such a complicated space. So just to blame everything on Russia is also kind of a little bit worrying, especially with the latest troop movements that happened just a few weeks ago. So seeing the mainstream media fully point the picture at Russia during these events is a little bit worrying, to be honest with you, because as you said, if they want to prop up a war, they could easily prop up a war. And right now they're saying Russia, Russia, Russia.
And that brings me back to the main point. Rachel Maddow coming out with a smile on her face and a sparkle in her eye. Oh, Vladimir Putin's defending Trump. Thank you. That's what she needed. She needs to justify, she needs to prove to her audience that there wasn't 4 years wasted. And what the scariest thing to me, the people who believe it, the people who have been lied to over and over again for years, still come crawling back for more, begging, please lie to me.
I have relatives that are that way. It's mind blowing. I don't understand how after 5 years of getting promised these smoking guns and getting nothing, getting no source material whatsoever. And we were talking about with the hacks and things that are happening. Even if you get reporting on it, you don't get any sourced information. Like they will say, the source will be a high-ranking Pentagon official. That doesn't. I'm sorry, but that's not good enough for me. Not in 2021. I'm going to need a little bit more than that.
There's nothing more trustworthy than an anonymous source from the military-industrial complex
Exactly.
and intelligence agencies. Yes, I wouldn't believe it. But again, this is big. We're heading into a time that's extremely perplexing, extremely worrying, because on the online digital space, you could do anything. and the realm of possibility is far and wide. So, and it's impossible to get any real concrete evidence.
I wouldn't be surprised if mutually assured destruction existed in the cyber realm now too. Like we have obviously nukes ready to go if anybody, but like if you invade here, we're shutting down all your oil refineries. The Chinese could do it to the United States. The United States could do it to the Chinese. The Russians could do it to the Indians. The Indians could do it to the United States. So we're all like in this, I don't, that weird Mexican standoff term, like it has nothing to do with Mexico anymore. It's like we're all ready to move and no one wants to take the first step because their infrastructure is going to get torched.
Yep. But with cybersecurity, it's different. With nukes, if so a Mexican standoff, for those unfamiliar, it's like there's three people and they're each pointing guns at each other, and no one wants to shoot first because then they'll get shot. So whoever shoots first loses. The first guy who gets shot goes down, then the guy who shoots gets shot by the other guy, and the last guy standing. So nobody wants to move. When you get a bunch of countries with nukes, sure, they could theoretically be like, okay, fire our nukes at all of the major capitals. Maybe they don't have enough. I think Russia might, and the U.S. might. China probably doesn't have enough nukes, but they've got a decent amount. India and Pakistan, I think, have nukes. So it's still a Mexican standoff. The U.S. is like, if we fire our nukes at Russia, we'll get hit from some other countries. With cyber attacks, we could have infected every industrial control system across the planet, and with a press of a button, shut it all down. So it's not necessarily. However, I'd be willing to bet that their nukes of other countries, they've got manual operation. So in the event the U.S. says shut down all of the industrial controls for as many countries as possible, the nukes will start flying. And we don't have the ability to take them all out. There's been a bunch of efforts to be able to stop nuclear weapons. Like one was called the Strategic Defense Initiative, I think the SDI system. And that was trying to fire rockets and blow up ICBMs in midair. Kind of like how the Iron Dome works in Israel. And then I think we have the THAAD in South Korea, but it's not enough. One nuke gets through and you take out a city.
Especially if it explodes in the air. I mean, if a nuke goes off
they do explode in the air.
Man, that is rough on the environment.
No. They do explode in the air.
They don't land?
Yeah, nukes don't blow up. They don't hit the ground and blow up. That would limit the blast radius.
Right.
Nukes go right above the target and then blow up, blanketing down.
Jeez.
Wow.
Dude, the people who build these weapons, merchants of death who knew how to maximize. Like there's something, gravity bombs, that's when a plane drops a bomb. So the first bombs that were ever used, the only ones, were called gravity bombs. We flew a plane over, we dropped it. We also got ICBMs. They did the math. They know exactly the maneuver you have to do. It's like a 90 degree or like a 270 degree turn or something to maximize the escape. So the shockwave of the nuclear bomb doesn't hit the plane. They calculate the stuff to a T to maximize death.
That's horrifying.
That is scary stuff.
I live on the water in San Diego, and I saw a missile launch, and I thought it was Russia nuking us because I'm right by Camp Pendleton. And I went and I dove in my tub because I'm such a little girl. But I found out later that it was SpaceX. Yeah. I was like, Elon, could you give me a heads up? I almost my pants.
Your mind went to Russia first?
I swear to God it did.
Wow. Well, do you think that's because of media manipulation?
Yeah, this was 3 years ago, so of course, yeah, totally.
Well, the fear mongering is very strong, and the stuff you bring up, some people would say is far fetched, some people wouldn't say, but this is the stuff that we know about. There's other weapon systems that we don't even know about that Vladimir Putin even hinted at previously before, where he was talking about tsunami weapons, utilizing oceans in order to take out, coastal infrastructure of major countries. So, the levels of sophistication, when you described merchants of death, it doesn't just happen with nuclear weapons. It also happens in laboratories with people creating bioweapons in order to infect and hurt and kill people as much as they can, which we know a lot of countries have been working and developing on viruses that do affect people on their different genomes, on their different genetic structures.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.